Hi there. Today I want to talk about Escaping the Rabbit Hole by Mick West. And this is a book about conspiracy theories and how to gently explain to your friends who may be conspiracy theorists how they are incorrect and suffering from a delusion. Now, I reread this book because very recently I had a conversation with a friend of mine who was telling me about somebody he works with who believes in flat Earth and exactly how they explain that the Earth is flat and the geography involved and all the cover-ups throughout history that needed to have been perpetrated to keep the fact that the Earth is a disc rather than a globe a secret. So it was really interesting because he knew what he was talking about, and he was trying to use logic on this person to explain why certain things wouldn't work. And he did get through to her on some things, but I don't think in the end she was convinced. And one of the things this book talks about is that there is a spectrum of beliefs in conspiracies, and there's quite a difference between somebody who believes that there was a cover-up in the JFK assassination to somebody who believes that the Queen is a lizard. And depending on those beliefs and depending on what specific conspiracy the person you're talking to believes in, what tools you're going to need to show them the light. And there are some areas in which just using logic, using science will work. But if somebody has very, very ingrained beliefs, and particularly if they are based on some sort of religion, then it's an uphill struggle, and it's probably futile actually trying to dissuade them. Now, I wrote an article on the forum about this a while ago, and I'll put a link to it. Because, just to be clear, there are conspiracies. A lot of the things that the governments get involved in are conspiracies. The intelligence agencies, by nature, are conspiratorial. That's their job. They don't do things in the open. They operate behind the scenes, diplomacy by other means, sometimes illegal. In the case of some intelligence agencies of some countries, they use assassination. And these are all conspiracies. They don't want people to find out about them. And they construct firewalls around them and deflect the truth getting out. Having accepted that, there are conspiracy theories, and we know the whole list of them, that are just fantasy. And then there's others where there is a degree involved. And the one I've already mentioned, JFK, I think almost everybody accepts that there was some degree of conspiracy involved there. That the facts as initially presented, that Lee Harvey Oswald just decided to shoot the president, and he happened to be in the vantage point to do it, and he did it very successfully, and then was arrested and then murdered himself. That's just the full story. And even President Trump was trying to get more files released, and the CIA was blocking him. They did release a certain amount, and a lot of them were redacted. Now, if there's no conspiracy, then why keep all this stuff secret? And as I say on the forum, there was somebody once investigating the Clintons, and a Clinton staffer said, "Why are you so adamant about turning over these rocks?" And he said, "Because you're so adamant about keeping your feet on them. And if you've got nothing to hide, then it doesn't matter." So one of the conspiracies mentioned in Mick West's book is the 9/11 conspiracy. And to me, it's one of the strangest ones, because the terrorists came from Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda claimed responsibility. The CIA was tracking them. I mean, this was all in the looming towers. CIA was tracking them and just didn't pass on the information. So they knew there was something afoot, and they were the guys who carried out the hijack and the use of the aircraft as missiles. They're seen going through airport security, etc., etc. And yet some people believe that it was all a conspiracy by, take your pick, George Bush, the Saudis, the Israelis, anyone who's a likely candidate. Now, there's a saying, who benefits? And the thing is, just because somebody benefits from an act, and you could say that the Bush administration used 9/11 to pursue their own aims in Iraq, just because they take advantage of it doesn't mean that they set it up. And it was such a massive conspiracy. I mean, the idea of rigging the Twin Towers with explosives in a controlled demolition, and there are people who say that's what happened, months and months of work. And people inside the building would have known about it. One of the guys inside the building was a security officer for one of the big companies in there, and he was very, very aware. He had good situational awareness. He had a good security attitude, and he was because the Twin Towers had been attacked previously with a car bomb. And he was always trying to upgrade the security. He would have noticed teams of people drilling holes in the walls and inserting explosives. And he died in the attack, getting people out. He was a hero. So just little things like that mean to me that there's so much nonsense about it. And then they go down, and the title of the book is The Rabbit Hole. They go down the rabbit hole of going into, thermite, the effects of thermite and things like this. They're all dead ends. And it's a symptom of probably too much access to information on the internet, coupled with a paranoid type of personality anyway. It was brought home to me with a TV series, a TV program, where they took a group of people who believed in a conspiracy around the 7/7 bombings and presented them with various experts and various evidence to refute their theories. And I will add that the theories didn't match. I mean, you had people who said that the Islamic terrorists didn't carry out the attacks, and other people who said they did, but the footage of them getting on the train was faked and things like this. And it was all contradictory, but they all agreed it was a conspiracy. But there was one guy on there, and his particular theory was that he'd researched, become an expert on explosives. And the bus that was attacked in Russell Square, he said that the explosives used by the terrorists and the amount, because it was in a backpack, couldn't have caused the damage seen. So the programme, and this was great, they went to a quarry and they got Sidney Alford, the explosives expert, and they got a bus. And off camera, they made the explosives. And the guy, the conspiracy theorist, agreed, yes, that's the type of explosives, that's what they used, and they had the correct amount. And they put it in a backpack on the bus in the position that the terrorist was in, and detonated, and the damage was exactly as we saw in Russell Square. And to his credit, the chap, the conspiracy theorist, was convinced. He said, I was wrong. You're right. I've seen the evidence with my own eyes. And guess what happened? The others turned on him. The others denounced him for changing his mind. It's almost like a religion. You're a heretic. The book discusses beliefs, because conspiracy theory is deeply rooted in belief, obviously, and it's a subject that's always interested me. Where do we get our beliefs? Who gives them to us? At what stage in our life do we acquire certain beliefs in certain things, which make up our belief system, which affects our behaviour for the rest of our lives? And an example a lot of our viewers will understand comes from stopping power, and the belief in which type of ammunition or which specific cartridge was the best. And we all had our beliefs, but when you really dig into them, and I've done this myself, where they come from, it's just almost a feeling. It feels right. It feels right to carry that ammunition because it accords with what I think. But it's not based on really much. It can be based on a certain amount of research and a certain amount of information and so on, but there is always a leap of faith involved. And I always found that interesting. Beliefs, we should be careful about picking up beliefs. Another area that I think is important to talk about is fake news. We're inundated with fake news, and we're also at the mercy of the big tech companies who supply so much of our information now. And conspiracy theories about fake news, some of them are not theories. A lot of people who are purveying information to us and so on, and it's not just a clickbait idea. It's for agenda reasons. We have to be careful about that, because we are all using these methods and online digital media, and we should be careful about the sources. And it's always wise to go to multiple purveyors and see what the other side's saying and try and balance it out. Don't get all your information from one source. So really interesting book. Mick West was on Joe Rogan a couple of times, and you can find his podcast with Joe on YouTube, and they are interesting as well. And if you've got any interest in how people think or where conspiracy theories or beliefs come from, I think you find the book interesting.